Hi, Gaited. So it's Majestic Rider, so I'm always working, as you see, but that's the only way I get to make videos. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about young horses. So this is a young horse. I think he's 7 or so. And I just rode a young horse on the trail this morning who was around 7 years old. And again, what people forget is young horses are any horses under 12 to even 15 years old, and some of them. Sometimes your older horse is young at heart forever. And the thing with this is that you need to help these young or energetic horses prepare for the job. Because if you don't, it will come out in ways that you do not want it to come out when you're least expecting it. So I have a fair amount of clients, and I always tell all of them, round pen or lunge your horse before you ride it, especially if it's a new horse to you for the first year. And they do it maybe for about a month. And then they don't anymore because they think the horse is fine. Remember, horses have to get their energy out, and even when they're in a pasture, they usually don't. They just sit around and eat and run once in a while. So if you don't get the energy out, they have lots of sugar in their system. They're going to get it out when you're riding them. And you might be able to ride it out, but in the end, you don't want to make a bad horse, right? This is a young horse. You're the one making it, so you want to make sure it has good habits. So with all these horses, new horses, horses that are energetic, and young horses, I'm going to say under the age of 15 now, it's best to round pen or lunge them before you ride them. And if you do a good job and do lots of turns and move their feet around, you don't have to do it very long, just 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure all the bucks are out, the rears, them screaming, them kicking out, their little tantrums. And you want to get all that energy out so the horse is focused when you're riding them. If you don't get those things out, or the horse hasn't been out, or you did ride it the day before but it wasn't very hard, well, then it might come out while you're riding the horse, and you might have a very bad ride. Or you're like, why did he take off? Why did he buck? Why did he rear? Because stuff happens on the trail. They hear for miles. They see things very far away. And if you don't prepare that horse, then they are just going to be a big bag of reaction and not a thinking horse. A thinking horse will keep you safe, but a reacting horse will not. Remember, they rely on the instincts that says to run. And that might just be running because they're full of energy. Now, everybody's horse is different, but it's best to overdo it and prepare the horse versus to underdo it. So some are young and they don't have much energy, but it's best to, get to know your horse first before you decide not to round pen. So if you round pen, the horse won't move. You're chasing around, you're whacking it with the whip, you're spooking it, because I jump up and down, I kick the mounting block. I do all sorts of things to spook it to see if that'll set the horse off. And if they won't do anything at all, then you're probably fine to go. But you need to keep checking, because for a whole year you're going through spring, summer, fall, and then winter. Things change as the weather changes. The horses aren't worked as hard, they're eating more, and they're storing that energy up, and then it comes out. So you really need to know your horse, and you can't if you've only had it a couple weeks or a month, or if you just had it in the summer when it's hot and it didn't want to move, turn into a nut in the winter. So it's best just to round pen it, to know those things, run that horse around, get rid of its energy, make it run, make it move. I'm not talking about walking around the round pen for 20 minutes. That's not going to get its energy out. I'm talking about gating it, letting it trot. You can let it pace, work on its canter, but move its feet around and make sure that energy is gone before you get up in that saddle. The other thing with young horses is she's telling our secrets, is they can get the Zoomies. If you haven't heard of that, just put it on YouTube with dog and you'll see a dog with Zoomies. So the Zoomies are when the dogs all of a sudden, for no reason at all, just go running around the house like a maniac, right? It's usually younger dogs, because as they get older, they're arthritic, they don't want to do that anymore. But nobody knows what sets them off, they just do it, right? So, and that's a predator, that's not even a prey animal. So, somebody's trying to walk ahead of me. So with your horse, can he get the Zoomies? Sure. If you turn them out and run them around, you'll see all of a sudden sometimes they'll bolt to the other end of the arena. They'll leap, buck, rear, run, kick at things. Your horse needs to get that energy out. And so if you have arena or a big pasture, that's a good area to make the horse run some. Don't make it crazy, but run it around, get the energy out. If it starts running on its own, then you don't need to chase it and make it run faster. You just want that energy out. But horses get zoomies just like dogs do, and you need to get it out. If you get it out, then they won't do it with you on their back. But if you don't get it out, then of course that could happen, that all of a sudden that energy, burst of energy comes while you're on that horse's back. So remember, young horses aren't for everyone. They are great, and you can make an awesome horse that's just yours, but you have to put the time in. You have to do the groundwork. You have to build a relationship, build trust, and make sure their energy is gone before you get on their back, so it doesn't come out at an unexpected time when you're trail riding with your friend and you guys go by a horse that's leaping and bucking or having a meltdown, or a loose horse bolts down the trail and comes flying at you guys. You're going to be much safer if you have a horse that has low energy at that moment. Okay, still can go bad, but if you can do anything to help it, it's best to do that. So remember, try not to be lazy. We're all lazy. Just if you can't round pen or lunge them, and you know you're supposed to from either watching this video, he's talking to his friend, then don't go riding out on the trail. Stay at home, work in the arena, just work in the round pen. You know, it's better to stay home and be disappointed than be disappointed in the hospital because you did something you knew you shouldn't have done and it ended up badly. So please listen to me and work your horses ahead of time before you get on them. If they're young, or if they're spunky horses, or they're full of energy, or you just don't ride enough, work that energy out.